So I've got two boys approaching 8 months old. January 1st, they'll be approximately 8 months old. So at this point, they're litter mates. If you haven't been following or watching and checking this out, they are litter mates. They were brought home 2 weeks apart, which was probably a good call. But there is the purported litter mate syndrome. I'm leaving them. We decided to leave them both intact for physiological, emotional, health reasons. They are developing males, so we decided that was an important thing for their bodies, for their minds. There's a reason that nature provided their testicles to make testosterone for the developing bodies. I believe if they're neutered young and too early, there's studies that are starting to show that it affects bone and joint development, cartilage, and the body still, the developing canine body, still has a need for testosterone. So other organs start to produce that aren't meant to produce as much as the body needs, which in taxing that at an early age, there is some indication that can lead to problems with other organs over the life of the dog. So the downside, the dangers, of course, are unwanted litters. That's not going to happen with these two boys. Any responsible owner, handler will know the signs that their dog is around a female in heat or their female is in heat, and they will take appropriate steps to ensure unwanted litters don't happen. Second, with dogs that are this large, evenly matched, so to speak, in size, strength, temperament, Wolf's got more drive. Wolf has much more persistence, shall we say, to get what he wants. Kai is laid back, although he's got an adequate amount of drive. And when it comes to, between he and Wolf, when it comes to ownership of things that Kai wants, Kai will lay down the law. If Wolf corrects Kai too harshly in play or does something that Kai really doesn't like, Kai will lay down the law. It's my estimation that as they continue to mature, Wolf will continue to have the higher drive, and Kai will defer in most things, and except in those things that are really important to Kai, and then he will let Wolf know he really rules the roost. Huh, buddy? This is Kai. They regularly engage in highly charged play, which borders on fights. There's a definite shift that happens between these boys and most dogs. If you notice it, when it is shifting from play to a fight, it happens quickly. It must be dealt with quickly, because once the shift occurs, bad things can happen real fast. So we know how to break up dog fights. We have not had to physically separate them more than a couple times because they would not call out. Enough is the command that we use to let them know that play is gone over, is approaching the thin line between play and fight, and it's time to cool that down. No, we don't insist they stop, but if it continues to escalate, then we'll intervene and ensure that they stop. But we have not had any problems anymore. The cautions are real. It does happen. People have had to put down or rehome one dog as they mature if they're left intact, or if they're litter mates, they're too competitive. We have taught cooperation and coexistence since the time Kai came into our house. So that is part of the foundation that's been laid that has allowed us to be successful. Both my wife Sherry and I have a good in-depth working knowledge of far beyond basic pack management. So multiple dogs is a real challenge, and it's a lot to handle, especially dogs of this type, caliber, drive, need for exercise, need for training, need for mental stimulation. And as some people know who have been following, we have added a third. He is not fully integrated into the pack. That is a work in progress. He is not intact, so I've got that going. So I've got two intact litter mates approaching 8 months old, and I've got about a 2.5, 3-year-old neutered male in my household now. He's been permanently here for a week. He's not out here for various reasons. The main one is that if something went south with three dogs this size, they're all 70, 80 pound dogs by this time. I'm not sure I could safely handle it, so it's not going to happen. There's no better way to cause a dog to be dog reactive, who's already a little sketchy, defensive, doesn't particularly sure they want to like other dogs yet. That can be a real problem. You put them in a situation they can't deal with, or where they are injured and they become super defensive about situations that are similar. That can be a real difficult problem to deal with for the life of the dog, actually. So far so good.